Father Agustino Torres, awesome for you to be here. I feel like whenever you friars come down from New York, the CFR Franciscans, the Franciscan Friars of Renewal, you guys are like brothers to us. It just always feels like we have that kinship ever since Father Benedict and Father Andrew. You know,
yeah, it could be the haircut, but I think there's definitely a kindred spirit.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Father Agustino, and tell us about your vocation to the CFRs and what led you to where you are today.
Sure. Well, I joined the CFRs in 1999 when I was a young buck, and it was a process. I grew up in South Texas, and I had gotten into my faith. My family wasn't practicing when I was growing up, and then my mother experienced what some people call a reversion.
Sure.
And then that kind of brought the family back in. I had my own little path that was a little bit different from my other brothers and sisters who kind of took to going to church a little bit more naturally. Took me a little bit longer.
Hard-headed?
Oh yes. You see this head?
Yeah.
It's like pure steel here. God had to kind of shake me up a little bit and help me see that it's real.
Yeah.
It's all
God
real.
is real.
Amen. But it's not necessarily, it wasn't apparent for me.
Yeah.
And through a couple of experiences, namely World Youth Day.
Okay.
And
which one?
Denver.
Okay.
With John Paul II. I was a little kid, and I was 16, I think, and then it just began to dawn on me, oh my gosh, this is real. So I began to live my faith a lot more intentionally. I remember I was, one Lent in high school, I said, I'm going to go to Mass every day during Lent. And it was kind of insane because I didn't know how I did it, but I kind of did it. And it really transformed my faith. And I began to pray and ask God what he wanted me to do. And then some opportunities opened up for me to go to university at Seton Hall University in New Jersey. And I was like, I'm from Texas. What am I going to go do over there? It was a golden opportunity. And that's really where I met the CFRs, the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. I had no clue who they were, who we were. I had no clue who Father Benedict Rochelle was. But somebody invited me to a talk that he was going to give, and I said, yeah, sure, let's go see. And I remember I saw him. I didn't know who he was, but I knew my mom knew.
Okay.
So I called my mom, and I said, hey.
Who is this friar?
There's that guy that's like with that nun,
Yeah, Mother Angelica.
Yeah. And she basically said what you just said, oh, Father Benedict. Oh, Mother Angelica, yeah, them. I saw him, and it was a wonderful exchange. And then I saw the brothers again at the March for Life, but this time it was a whole group of them. And as you know, it's one thing if you're by yourself, it's another thing if there's a whole bunch of us.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're
it's
by
like a
yourself.
mob.
Yeah, it's like
great.
It's something's happening.
Yeah, it's great. Well, talk about Father Benedict, and Father Andrew too. By the way, condolences. I'm so sorry of his recent passing, but just talk about the influence that these two great men, Father Benedict and Father Andrew, had on you and your formation and what you're doing now.
Yeah, we are so blessed to have been living in the same time as two really giants, two warriors. And me personally, these were the two priests that were hands-on forming us during postulancy, during novitiate, and even in seminary. They were teaching us at the seminary. So I really do feel incredibly blessed to say that, who taught us spiritual direction? Father Benedict. Who taught us spirituality? Father Andrew. What a gift. But these men, maybe not everybody knows, but they founded, along with 5 other brothers, the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal.
Yes.
And so they felt the Lord move in their heart to kind of start again, to kind of, get back to basics right in the Bronx, trying to incarnate what St. Francis was asking his friars to do in the context of the Bronx. And they did. And you could read the story, some of the history. They really, it was quite a purgatory. And quite a birthing process.
And Father Benedict really didn't want to leave in the beginning.
Yeah,
you can read that in the story, but him and Father Andrew, they really wanted to stay, but they really felt the Lord impelling them to start this renewal.
And they often said that. They often said that, you know, like it wasn't their idea.
Yeah, yeah, it was God's.
But then you ask, exactly,
Yeah.
you ask them afterwards, like, what is all this?
Yeah.
And Father Benedict would say, this is a work of God.
Yeah.
Meaning all these brothers coming together. And so they started in 1987, back when the Bronx was full on, the Bronx. You know, the Bronx is still tough, but not like it was before. Thanks be to God, a lot of things have changed. Yeah, and they started right there, and within a couple weeks of moving in to an old rectory, they started a shelter for homeless.
Yes.
And just began working with the poor, really inspired by Mother Teresa, who they had personal contact with. And in fact, it was Mother Teresa who told Father Benedict, when he was telling her, Mother, you know, this is where we feel the Lord leading us, and she said, you must have a daily Eucharistic holy hour. And Father Benedict told me the story. He said, well, you know, Mother, yeah, no, we're going to pray. We want to pray, but, you know, we also want to, you know, like, we're not sure if it's going to be every day. He says, you must have every day. And he's like, okay, Mother. And she said, if you pray more, you will do more. And so, believe it or not, that was kind of the genesis of how we have our daily Eucharistic Holy Hour. And, like, I mean, I can't even imagine our life without that. And so, like, all these little things, these men who were striving to follow God's will really became incredible teachers, incredible spiritual guides, not just for us, but for the whole world.
Well, on that note, when we come back, we'll talk about their influence and go into really what your loves are: evangelization, missionary discipleship, and John Paul II, you know, his teachings.
More with Father Agustino Torres after the break.